In a first step towards clot formation, platelets are recruited to the site of vessel injury by now exposed molecules of the vessel wall, such as collagen and von Willebrand factor. This factor mediates the linking of platelets to collagen via a specific receptor in the platelet membrane. The resulting change of shape of the platelet from its resting state into the dendritic form indicates activation. The activated platelet in turn releases prothrombotic molecules such as adenosine diphosphate, ADP. By binding to its receptors, ADP induces aggregation. And recruits further platelets to the site. Thromboxane is another important mediator of platelet activation and aggregation. Under its influence, the platelets cross-link with each other. These interlocking mechanisms cause platelet activation to snowball. The clot grows rapidly. Activated platelets also trigger the coagulation cascade and thus the formation of thrombin. Thrombin, in turn, stimulates platelet activation even further, a continuous feedback loop. Additionally, thrombin induces the formation of fibrin for the mesh stabilizing the clot. The self-reinforcing process of platelet activation, crucial in the formation of blood clots, is an obvious therapeutic target in conditions caused by inappropriately triggered blood coagulation.
Millions of people live with HIV, a disease that weakens the body's defense against ordinary infections.
The body's defense is the immune system, made up of white blood cells, antibodies, and other cells. CD4, a type of white blood cell, fights off invaders.
But HIV attacks CD4 cells. The HIV life cycle begins when HIV attaches itself to the CD4 cell and transfers its proteins and genetic materials into it.
Next, an HIV enzyme called reverse transcriptase converts HIV RNA into HIV DNA, while an integrase enzyme integrates HIV DNA into the host CD4 cell's DNA.
Then, the protease enzyme processes the produced HIV material for assembly into an immature virus.
Finally, mature HIV materials are released into the body, where the cycle starts over again.
There is no cure for HIV, but antiretroviral medication or ARVs reduce HIV reproduction by interrupting the HIV life cycle.
Entry inhibitors prevent HIV material from entering CD4 cells, while reverse transcriptase inhibitors stop the reverse transcriptase enzymes from converting HIV RNA into HIV DNA.
Later, integrase inhibitors block HIV integrase enzyme from integrating HIV DNA into CD4 DNA. while protease inhibitors block the protease enzymes from enabling the production of new HIV material.
By learning more about HIV and ARVs, you are better able to adhere to HIV treatment and protect others from getting infected.
The human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV, is a retrovirus that replicates itself within the bloodstream. After contracting HIV through certain bodily fluids, the body's immune system engages in a losing battle with the virus. As HIV circulates through the bloodstream, it attaches to some cells and repurposes them to produce more virus. Using the host cell's machinery, the virus creates new HIV. In a process called budding, the immature virus is released into the bloodstream where it matures and can infect other cells. As the replicated virus continues to spread throughout the bloodstream, it begins to hamper the body's immune system, destroying white blood cells known as T cells, which are an integral part of the immune system. HIV is treated with antiretroviral medications. These drugs are given in combinations and are referred to as antiretroviral therapy. ART disrupts the ability of the virus to reproduce itself. If a person living with HIV adheres to their ART regimen, the virus can be reduced to almost undetectable levels within the bloodstream. Nowadays, a person living with HIV can stay healthy and are less likely to transmit the infection onto others. The research on HIV continues, and scientists remain focused on discovering a cure and a vaccine within our lifetime.
Tuberculosis, also known as TB, is spread through the air from one person to another. When someone with pulmonary TB disease coughs, TB bacteria are expelled into the air in tiny water droplets. These droplets can remain floating in the air for several hours, making it possible for someone nearby to inhale them. Once a person has breathed in droplets that contain TB bacteria, they travel down the trachea and enter the lungs, where they collect in the alveolar sacs. Once in the alveolar sacs, the bacteria begin to multiply. The body's immune system starts working and macrophages begin to surround the bacteria. A granuloma is formed to keep the bacteria from spreading. The TB bacteria remain in the lungs, but the body is protected from disease by the granuloma. In 8 to 10 weeks, the person will most likely test positive for latent TB infection. The progression from latent TB infection to TB disease occurs when the granuloma break open and the TB bacteria multiply. Then the person becomes sick with TB disease and may be infectious. This progression can occur immediately after infection, many years later, or not at all. When the TB escapes from the granuloma and begins destroying a person's lungs, it's called pulmonary TB. TB bacteria can also enter the bloodstream and travel to other parts of the body, causing extrapulmonary TB.
Mental health. What is it? Mental health is our ability to respond to the challenges that life throws at us. We can have all sorts of mental struggles about money, work, relationships, family, health, or just life in general. Good mental health is our ability to function, to bounce back from these struggles, and to be able to move forward. Being able to deal with the worries of everyday life helps us build resilience, which is another way of saying good mental health. Resilience can help us when our problems seem overwhelming. Without it, our mental health could spiral out of control, changing the way we feel, think, and behave. It could mean being worried or afraid all of the time, feeling numb or like nothing matters, or losing touch with what is real. When this happens, it can take some time to get back on track. At these times, it's important to reach out for help, whether it's through friends, family, or mental health professionals. Finding the right support can help us get back to feeling ourselves. Sometimes, though, professional advice is needed. But where do you find that? Head to Health can be a guide to help you find the right information, support, and advice from trusted service providers. Head to Health. We're here to help.
Blood is a vital component of human life, as it provides crucial nourishment to body tissues and organs to sustain life. Providing safe and adequate blood and blood products is an integral part of country's national blood policy. To strengthen the government's initiative, it's our responsibility to contribute for voluntary blood donation. Do you really care? Did you think about it? "96% of us rely on the other 4% to maintain blood supplies. Every 3 seconds, someone needs blood. A unit of blood can save more than one life. Any healthy person having 12.5 grams of hemoglobin and 45 kilograms of body weight from age 18 to 65 years can donate blood. An average adult has 5 liters of blood in the body and can easily afford to donate 350 to 450 milliliters during one donation. Donation can be made every 90 days. Blood donation is a safe medical process. You will not be infected with any disease by donating blood. There's no need to be afraid of. Blood can be donated at any nearest licensed blood bank or voluntary blood donation camp. Donating blood voluntarily is the greatest gift one can offer to humanity. Do you really care? रक्तदान करके देखो, अच्छा लगता है।
This is the story of one drop of blood. This drop of blood started out in the body of Parry. When her friend Mariam was in labour and started losing a lot of blood, Parry didn't hesitate and donated blood to save her friend's life. That drop of blood, with many others, went from Parry to her friend Mariam, and Parry saved Mariam's life. It's also the story of another drop of blood. Manuel sees every day how accidents happen all the time. He feels a connection to his community and wants to do his part to contribute to the well-being of his people. Every 3 months, he goes to the clinic and donates blood. Manuel's blood drops go to hundreds of people who need them to survive. This is the story of millions of drops from millions of people that decided to make an act of solidarity by donating blood. Everywhere in the world, blood from millions of people who donate blood to their community are saving lives every day, providing a precious safeguard for patients and communities. Blood donation is an act of solidarity. Join the effort. Save lives.